Why are you learning English? A question that every English learner has to answer, but they are not able to hold a conversation on this single question. And if you are also one of those speakers who can't speak more than a few lines and struggling with your English, then welcome to my channel. Hello everyone, my name is Roshan and here I talk about English learning, books and movies. And this is a series of videos where I teach a spoken English on a single topic. I help you with vocabulary, sentence structure, format, and how you can still practice without having any partners. So if you are also struggling with your English, then this video is perfect for you. I guess today is day 19 and we are discussing the question, why am I learning English? What I'll do, we'll follow the same format. If you're learning any skill in the world, it's all about consistency. You have to repeat the same thing no matter how boring it gets. You just have to find a reason why you are doing that. And this is one of those questions that we know the answer, but we are not able to make all those sentences. So, to discuss everything, I'll move in my room and there I'll help you with everything I can. So, let's start. So, here we are. And more than English learning, I need a goddamn haircut. Hopefully, after this video, I'm going to get one. Also, if you want to learn English in one-on-one and group classes, you can send me a message on my number and we can work together. And let's start our video with a very simple question that we asked earlier. Why are you learning English or why am I learning English? In my case, I'm learning so that I can teach, I can become confident, I can create content. These are the current 3 reasons. But earlier I started just so that I can read books. I love storytelling, be it movies, books, comics, manga, you name it. I just love consuming media. And English is that global language which can expose you to the stories around the world. So that was the reason I started learning and then it turned out my profession. Now I'm improving myself so that I can put content on the internet and I can teach others. So here is the format that you can follow. I want to learn English because it helps in getting better jobs, traveling easily, meeting new people. It also allows me to understand movies, music, and interviews without translations. Second question, is there a goal you are working toward? One of my goal is to become fluent because no matter where you are, there is always something new to learn. And when you are a student of English literature, you are always getting new concepts. And especially when you are studying the language, you have to learn so many things. So it's an ocean. And no matter how deep you go, there is always a new depth to explore. And I would say my goal is to become so fluent that I can talk to any native speaker without any hesitation and obviously without any subtitles. Here is the format. Yes, I want to speak fluently, communicate freely, and feel comfortable in different situations. My dream is to study abroad, give a talk in English, or work internationally. I know it will take time, but I'm ready to put in the effort, practice, and consistency. Next question. Do you think English is useful for your future? Without any doubt. No matter where you are working right now, everyone is trying to learn this language so that they can get a promotion, get a better job, or simply they can understand people better. Because if you go on social media right now, I think 70 to 80% of content is in English. And if you want to study, if you want to go abroad, if you want to work in a better company, then definitely there is no doubt you'll have to learn this language. And my whole future depends on it. If I'm not improving regularly, then I cannot train others. I cannot create new content. So my whole goddamn future depends on this language. Here is the format. Absolutely. English plays a huge role in jobs, education, or travel these days. I think it is becoming necessary in the modern world, digital age, or global market. Next, how do you plan to improve your English? Personally, I keep things very simple. It is just that I'm consuming so much that it has just become part of my daily routine. I don't have to force myself or give a separate amount of time that, this time belongs to English. I know I should get a life instead of just reading a lot of books, but I try to. And when you are creating content, you write a lot. And also, you have to edit. And while editing, I review those videos where I'm making mistakes, which are the areas I can improve on. And I recommend same thing to you. You don't have to over stress yourself. You might be thinking, Roshan, you can speak English. That's why you are telling that keep things simple. But believe me, guys, it doesn't matter which skill you are learning. It is all about keeping things very simple and just repeating very consistently. I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker. Here is your format. I try to learn by watching English shows, YouTube videos, or podcasts regularly. I also practice speaking with friends, language partners, or myself to get better. Reading and writing English helps me stay consistent, engaged, or focused. Last question of this format. Who inspires you to learn English? Earlier, my inspiration was not a person, it was just a story. I just wanted to explore world cinema, world literature, and that was my motivation. Because once you experience a story which completely moves you, maybe it makes you cry, makes you laugh, or makes you just ponder for a long time on a single idea. That's when you get that inspiration that I have to push myself to learn this language. And now I see a lot of people creating content. So those people are my motivation. I want to speak like them. I want to become so articulate that I can talk to anyone in the world. So that's my end goal, becoming articulate and being able to convey my ideas to others. Here is the format. I really look up to YouTubers, public speakers, or teachers who speak naturally. I admire people around me who made big progress with daily effort, self-study, or practice. So this was our simple format which you can definitely use instead of simply giving one reason that why do you want to learn English. Let's move on to our next segment, that is modern phrases. Here, like always, I'll read it for you and I'll provide you a context and also an example. I want to speak without overthinking. It's very simple. I want to communicate with others without overstressing or without overthinking. It's a big part of my personal goals. English is a really big part of my personal goals because my whole future depends on it right now. I want to create content in this language, so I have to master it. Next, I just want to be able to express myself. I want to become articulate and I want to learn this language so that I can express myself in front of others. Next, speaking English opens a lot of doors. When you know an international language, obviously you are going to get a lot of opportunities, be it work, travel, or anything you can imagine. So, speaking English can open a lot of doors for you. Next, I'm working on sounding more natural. Once you are done with the basics, you can start sounding more natural by shadowing practice or just communicating with others. I'm not fluent yet, but I'm getting there. By everyday practice, I'm realizing that I'm not fluent, but I'm trying to get there. English helps me connect with the world. It simply means you are able to relate with what's happening in the world, social media, pop culture, or just educating yourself. Next, I want to feel confident in any situation. In India, English is considered a scale where people measure how intelligent you are on basis of how good of a English speaker you are. So, I want to feel confident in any situation. Last, this is something I have always wanted to do. English learning and speaking confidently is something which I have always wanted to do. So these were some modern phrases. Now, let's move on to vocabulary section. And again, I'll read it for you and try to repeat after me. And if you can, make sentences on them. Fluency, confidence, communication, opportunity, challenge, improvement, accent, motivation, connection, career, travel, expression, skill, growth, mindset, learning, habit, purpose, goal, exposure. Next segment is adjectives, and in all of my videos I talk about how adjectives are really important. These are descriptive adjectives and you can use them to describe English learning. The words are motivated, confident, excited, focused, determined, inspired, consistent, global, personal, passionate, hopeful, serious, natural, helpful, rewarding, practical, ongoing, committed, curious, and ambitious. Now let's discuss some conversational questions about English learning. All of these questions are related to our topic, how you can talk about why you are learning English. The first question is, what made you start learning English in the first place? As I mentioned earlier, I just wanted to explore different kind of stories and that was my motivation, and now it has become my profession. I'm learning so that I can teach others. And when you are a teacher, you always have to learn something new. Second question, do you enjoy learning English or just want the results? My case was completely different. I was just enjoying the process, but for a lot of people, it is compulsion. They just want to learn English at any cost. It doesn't matter whether they are enjoying the journey or not, but I recommend guys, try to enjoy the process. You can entertain yourself, and on that journey, you will encounter so many great movies, so many great books, or just so many great people with whom you can interact, which I'm doing and which I always try to. Next, how do you usually practice English these days? These days, I'm teaching a lot of people in one-on-one classes or in group sessions. So there I have to speak a lot. I talk to them, I ask questions. So there I interact with them. And also I read. Most of my free time is spent on reading. And when I'm not reading, I'm trying to create content like this. So these are the few things which I'm doing on a regular basis, editing, creating videos. And there I encounter my mistakes and I try to work on them. Next, do you ever talk to yourself in English? This is what I'm doing right now. I'm talking to myself, or I'm imagining that I'm talking to some people out there. But yeah, I used to talk a lot, and which I do these days also, because it has become my habit. I know it sounds crazy, but before going to bed, I always record a kind of journal video which I talk about how I'm feeling right now, what I did, what are the highlights. I simply just report my day and I be as authentic as I can. Next, is there someone you wish you could have a full English conversation with? Obviously, I love talking to people, and there are just so many people, not just a single person. And one of them is Shahrukh Khan. I want to interview him. I know it sounds crazy, but that's one of my dreams, to be able to talk to people like him, who are so articulate, like R. Madhavan, R. Ashwin. I just love listening to them. So people like them. So they are in my wish list. I want to talk to them. I want to interview them. Next, what kind of situation make you nervous in English? I think whenever I have to speak in front of an audience, I think that's very obvious. It's not just in English, in any language. When you are talking to a big audience, even or a small audience. So I would say simply interacting with a lot of people. Next, have you ever impressed someone with your English? I don't want to sound too narcissistic, but yeah, my friends were impressed when they found out that I can speak English. My parents, they don't know anything about English, so they are always impressed that what this guy is blabbering in his room. But yeah, I'm making money right now, so they are more than happy. Next, what is something small you have done recently to improve your English? This is not something new, but I had taken a break. Maybe because I was too distracted. Because writing is something which requires a lot of attention, a lot of brainstorming, but that's something which is really satisfying. And that can help you in the long run. So that's one thing I want to do it consistently. And I try to write every day. Next, do you think in English sometimes or still in your native language? These days I'm spending a lot of time with my students or my clients, so I have to think in English because there I have to directly talk to them. But when I go downstairs or when I'm talking to my friends, my brain is wired that way. I think we all are wired that way, that once we are exposed to a certain kind of environment, our brain automatically switches. So whenever I'm talking to my family members, my friends, I can't help but think in Bhojpuri. Last question. Do you use English when you are texting or messaging online? Again, there is a boundary. With my friends, I text in Bhojpuri or I send them voicemails in Bhojpuri, but with my clients or with people who wants to learn English, I just talk to them in English. So these were our 10 questions. I'll leave the rest of the 10 here. You can just practice with them. And if you're enjoying this series, please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to support the channel, please subscribe. And again, if you want to learn English with me in one-on-one and group classes, feel free to send me a message on this number. So yeah, that's it, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.